Hi everyone, it's Jean. Welcome to Tuesday's video. Today, as you can see, I have a lot of stuff on my desk. So I've been going through a couple things because I have a quick, easy project for you. And I was looking for some interesting papers. And I know that maybe some of you have seen my video that I did on stenciling with the distress inks and stencils onto some book page to make some interesting pages. So I just want to look through here. I'm looking for something that's kind of on the green side. This is just some scrapbook paper got mixed in here, and some other dyed papers. Sorry, for some reason I have just started to get the hiccups. Sorry about that. So I have all these papers that I had inked with different stencils, and I'm looking for green. So let me see if I can find a green real quick. I don't want to take a whole lot of time from our video looking for green paper. Also, just as a side point about it's probably been a month or so now. I had also done a video about making pages with your offcuts and then sewing them, sewing fancy designs on them. And I did that with some of these that I'll show you real quick. I just went zigzagged and around. It gave some little interest to these pages, so they can be cut up and used for tags or whatever you want to use them for. But I thought I had picked out a green page, and I don't need anything super fabulous here. I might use that one if I can't find. Oh, this one's kind of nice. Okay, we'll use this one right here because I really only need, I like the book paper showing through. So what I was doing is I was going through a couple videos just to get some ideas of some things that were going into journals recently. And I came across Cathy from Cathy's Garden. And I'd never watched any of her videos before, but she had this really cute video, and it's under a series that she calls Tag Me Tuesday. And in this particular series, she made some little index card booklets. Now, I don't have any index cards that are large enough. She used the 4x6, excuse me, which is the largest one that you can get if you go to a office supply store or your local store where you do your grocery shopping. You can probably find a pack for $1 or $2, or maybe Dollar Tree may have them, I'm not sure. But what she had done was she cut her, she didn't have to cut, but I'm going to have to cut because I'm not going to have a 4x6. So I just have a template that I'm going to use, not that one. And of course mine's not going to come rounded corners on this yet, but we'll use our corner rounder. And she just basically designed a little booklet with the index card. The index card 4x6 is a perfect size for this project. So if you do have some in your stash somewhere, you have exactly what you need. I am going to trim this down, and it's probably going to be more like a 5.5 by 4 something maybe. So I'm just going to trim this, and I do have guidelines here, but I'm not paying a whole lot of attention. I'm not super meticulous when it comes to measuring. And I'm just going to use this. I'm going to keep those green pieces as offcuts in case I need them for something. So this ended up being ruler. I had you out and I didn't put you back, and that's why I end up losing things. I have a whole bunch of stuff here on my desk tonight because I wanted a lot of options for how we could decorate these little booklets. So this particular size that I have here turns out to be, yeah, almost, it's 5 1/4 by 4. So if you get around that 5.5 or 6 mark, that's good, because then you know that you're in the size of an approximate index card. Now, what I do with these, because this is a book page and I'm going to make this into a little book, I'm going to back it onto some paper that is, it's actually just scrap, or what they call sketch paper. And I have this huge booklet, and I almost hate to cover this up, but I think I like the lighter green better. So I'm going to glue this down to my sketchbook paper, and I always try to glue things on the sides instead of right in the middle, which may just be common sense to you, but it helps to get as much as you can out of your project piece. So then I'm just going to trim around this as close as I can to the book paper without cutting into it. And if there is a tiny little border, that's okay, because we will be using some laces and some other things that will cover up the edges, but also we will ink this as well. So no problem there. So here we have our page. This is just an offcut that I had earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, there's something on the other side. That's okay. I'm going to fold this in. So it meets the edge. And there is our little booklet. Now, I'm like the effect of rounding the corners. So if you have a corner rounder, go ahead and use that. And you can round the corners however you like, as little or as much as you want. I'm just going to do this one a tiny bit because it gives us more to work with then. And then I'm going to take my distress ink, which I was talking about distress ink before. There's all kinds of browns that you can use. And I think for me, for the longest time, I always use the tea stain, which is a lighter brown to highlight with, but I'm liking the walnut stain because it gives a little bit of a darker look. And of course, let me put some on the back here. And of course, there's also some other ones that you can use, like Brush Corduroy, and there's Vintage Photo. So whatever brown you like, or even Black Soot, if you like the black look of your designs, of more of a grungy or gothic feel, use the black. That's a great option as well. But usually the standard color to use for inking is a brown, and the Ranger ink has several colors for that. Or you can just get yourself a little cheap brown ink pad and use that. It doesn't have to be Tim Holtz, doesn't have to be Distress ink. So here we have our little book. And it is, what I'm going to do with it, in addition to inking it, is I'm actually going to put a little spine here. And this spine is kind of like what you would call book paper or book binding material that you use to bind larger books with. And it just gives it another little interesting aspect to it. So I had some snippets over here of like sheet music and tea-dyed paper. So let me see what I can find really quick for us to use, because I piled images and lace and all kinds of things over here. I need to have a day where let me see if this is big enough. Yes, okay. I need to have a video where I just make myself make something with all the offcuts I have. I've been trying to do that as a fun little thing because I have so many. I'm like, no, I don't want to throw that out. I might use it. One thing I use offcuts for often is when I'm making tags, because I like tags to be all different sizes, different shapes. So that's a fun thing to use offcuts for too. Even if they're small, you can make yourself a small little tag, and they fit really cute into a tuck spot, or you can use them on a collage sheet, you know, like a collage element on a cluster, whatever you want to use. You can cut them into a label size, whatever you like. So let me put this on here. Try to center it down the spine and just smooth it out. Now, one of the things I learned from Cathy that I thought was really interesting is that she talks about when you glue something and then you fold it, a lot of time you will get buckling, especially if you use a wetter glue. So she suggests when you do something like this to lay it out and let it dry before you fold it. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I will show you some of the booklets that I already made. These are so much fun. I just started to make a bunch of them. So this is a great mass making project. Once you get the booklets done, I mean, you're home free with designing them then. So I have a music page 1. This is the inside page of a journal, a regular writing journal, and this is the other half of it. And I really like these two because of the words and the writing on them. So they will make really cute. And then of course I used this. I love that teal color. And then we have the green one. So we have a couple to work with. And I'm going to work with this smaller one first so that this can dry. And I have on my desk, like I said, laces, everything. I even printed out a couple of my printables that I have. Some of these may be in my coffee shop. Some of them I may not have uploaded yet. This one has some shabby backgrounds. These young ladies are quite cute with their dresses and the lilacs. This is more of a Dolce Gabbana style. Here are some watercolor roses. So I think what I'm going to start with are some of these watercolor roses. I was trying to see if this is the only page of them. I think this is the only page of them that I have. So I'm going to cut a couple of these, and this is just going to be freeform, or, you know, I'm not going to use my cutter. I'm just going to cut these out, and I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting here, so bear with me a second. And we'll cut around this leaf here. A lot of people talk about fussy cutting and what's the best kind of scissors and things to use for that. But to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like I have more control over where my scissors go with a larger pair. So I just usually use a larger pair of scissors for mine. So I'm going to fussy cut this out, and then I want to use one of my little girls. So I'll just cut this one right here in the corner. These were my Melancholy Maidens, and I'm pretty sure they are on my coffee shop if you're interested. And I'm going to try to trim this as close as I can without cutting into the image. You can go through with your cutter with these, but I find that they turn out okay, just like that. So there we have an image, we have some flowers, and I want to put some type of fabric or lace on here. So I have some just little tiny pieces that I cut up so that I could use in this project. And they're all kind of a vintagey, shabby type color. So these are my scissors that don't like to cut fabric. I usually tear my fabric, but just in case I have to cut. And then this is just a tea-stained piece of muslin, and I'm going to shabby it up here by pulling out some of the threads, just making it look a little rough. If you want to, with your fabric, you can add a little bit of your with your dauber, your ink, if you want to, just to make it look a little bit darker. That's up to you. I'm not going to do that in this case because I already have a lot of the pieces already. So here we have this and this, and we have this beautiful little red-headed girl. Now she's going to cover up. I don't want her to cover up all of the muslin. So we'll lay her down like this. And then let me see. This is just, I don't know where this lace came from, Could be that I got it at one of the thrift stores. But there's a really cute piece of like an ecru right here. I never know whether to call something ecru or off-white. But I am going to add some lace, and I'm going to put it at the bottom. Now the tricky part is always figuring out which side is the top. And actually, I think I'm going to do the side. Which side's the top and which side's the bottom. Okay, we'll just go with it. I'm not sure to be 100%, but I'm not going to worry myself about what's the top and what's the bottom. It's such a fine little piece of lace, you can't really tell a whole lot anyway. And we may put something over top. So I'm going to put this lace right here on the side. And clip it right here until I can see what I'm doing here. So I just want this to hang over a tiny little bit. So I'm going to pull this up. And I want that to be straight down the side. And then I will just cut this going around the corner and going around the corner. Now I don't have a corner rounder that will work through fabric, so I pretty much have to do it by hand. Okay, so there's a cute little piece of lace, and then I also brought some of my trims that I had gotten from an online store, and I think if we even put a little piece of this down the side, this would look cute. And I'm going with kind of a pink theme on this one. Even though our girl has a little blue dress, I think the pink looks nice. And we'll put this down the side along with the lace. And that will just make it even more of that shabby chic style. Now, I love the shabby chic style. I love the chippy paints and the florals and the lovely laces, but I'm not really big on going too overboard with all the frou-frou. So we'll see how this turns out. I need to clip this one little flower off here because it's a tiny bit long. The great thing about these little embroidered laces or trims is you can cut them down into smaller pieces. And then, for example, this little piece, we could even put on her for her dress or something else we might want to use it for. So there we have this really pretty border. And I think, wondering how this would look. Let's see if I have a smaller piece of that. Okay, here's a little piece of this rose. I'm not sure where this fabric came from. I think it's a newer cotton fabric. I probably picked it up at the fabric store. When I lived in my other house, I would still go to the fabric store, but now that I live at my new house and I have access to all my mom's things, I'm able to use her fabric. So I'm just going to put that little strip there, and let's see if we add the layers and add this little miss on here. She's going to be just a tiny bit too big. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my trimmer and trim her down just a tiny bit so that she is more narrow, and it shouldn't cut off any of her arm or anything, so we should be good there. There she is. Just trim down a little bit more, and that works better on the front of this. Okay, let me ink the edges here because there is a little bit of white that was left over from cutting. And get her nice and shabby. And what's cute too, sometimes to make these pictures look kind of old, and I'm going to try that with this one, is to just take a little chunk or slice out of it. Make sure you ink it up really well, and even if you want to kind of just tear it in places, it makes it look more shabby. So here, let me make sure this gets, is this my scrap page? What happened, Gia? I'm just going to make sure this gets really covered because I don't want... Oops. My desk, as soon as I start doing anything like this, everything starts to crash. Okay, and I'm just going to take a little piece out of that and ink that really well. Let me see where my corner rounder is. Let me see if I can round that edge, round this edge. Kind of defeats the purpose of making it look shabby with the rounded edge, but I'm going to rough it up here a little bit with my fingernails. Some things that fingernails are good for, right? Right now mine are nice and long, but who knows how long that'll last. Okay, so here's our young lady, and we have her all shabbily fixed up here to make it look, I don't know, it reminds me of the kind of like the vintage tintypes that used to be popular many, many years ago. They actually took your photo and it was on a piece of tin. Okay, we'll put these two pieces together right here. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue. So this is the glue that I was talking about. I have watched artists in the past where they will glue things with a glue stick, and then they'll glue with like a PVA or an Elmer's glue on top. And I think that's a really good idea, especially for making sure that your whatever you're designing doesn't come apart. However, what I've also found is that when you are using all those extra glues, why not just buy yourself a glue that you know is going to stick at the first time, so you don't have to worry about that later. Okay, I'm going to see how I want to position her on here, because I want to make sure that we can not only see that she's rustic and torn a little bit, but I also wanted to get some of the fabric in there. So I think I'll lay her under there like that. And I'm going to just turn up that end a little bit. Okay. So I'll stick her right under the edge of the trim. That way we have some of the fabric sticking out. Okay, so adorable, isn't she? She's so adorable. And I'm not going to put this on her because I really think it's too big. And actually, I was thinking about this. This is probably too big too, so we'll save that one for another one. I'm going to, however, add this to the corner up here, because if you're looking at this, you see all the color here. If I add this little flower up here, it's going to draw your eye up a little bit more, so that you will notice the complete collage or design, instead of just drawing your eye to the outside. Now, I do think she needs something else, so let me see what I should add. I think what she needs is a little label. And I had a little green one here. And no, not green. It was like a reddish. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I laid it over here in my trinket box, but maybe not. That's okay, because actually what we can do is we can make our own little label. With a piece of, this is just a tea-dyed piece of composition notebook paper that you would usually get for school to go in your binder. And I'm going to put it right here. And I have my word stickers. I found them. I don't remember where I laid them. I also found this little red label, but I think I like this piece of paper better. And let's see, labels, where are you hiding? Where are you hiding? they hiding in here? No. Okay. So I'm going to, I don't know. I like the idea of the, let me go ahead and just stick this on first. Let me ink it some so it'll look uniform with our design. Just put some ink here and there. And put this right here. Okay. Now, I know I had my word stickers right here, very, very close. So I know I have a package of them as well. Okay, they may be under here because I put a lot of lace and snippets of fabric and trims here. Yes, here they are. Another really cool thing to use, and I'm not sure if I can still use it on this or not. I may. Let me just find a cute little word to go on here, and I'm going to put one of these brown ones on it, and I think I'm going to use the word let's see, because this is like a little notebook, I'm going to use this one right here, and I'm going to, even though this is like a cardboard or what you call it, more of a, it's not the white sticker, it's the brown. I'm gonna have to put a little bit of glue on this because those stickers lose their stickiness. And this just says cherish, and it looks really nice right there. And then what I was telling you is one of the things that I have started saving little by little, especially when I do my coffee or tea dye, are pieces of the tea bag. Usually all you have to do is let them dry, and then you can dump out the tea, and you'll have you can unfold them and they'll look like a whole sheet. So I haven't had occasion to use a whole sheet yet, or a whole piece of a tea bag, but I have used little pieces in different projects. So I thought I had one laying here, but I have one over here. So I'll show you what they're like. So when I do my tea staining, I usually do tea and coffee together, just because I like the smell. And once you unfold these, they come out to a nice, pretty brown kind of see-through paper. So if I wanted to add some to this, which I don't think I'm going to, you know, you could tear just a little piece and add here or add there. But I think she looks just sweet, just like this. Now, what we do with this afterwards, and I've pre-cut these, And to make this into a little booklet, what you would want to do is to cut some paper that is smaller than the size of the booklet, of course. I'm not sure. This looks like it's a little bit over. So let me see if I can satisfactorily trim this with scissors and not freak out. And it just fits in like this. Now, Cathy, what she did with hers, I'm not sure how many pieces of paper she added, but she stapled hers, and I don't think I can staple mine because my stapler is not wide enough. So what I would probably have to do is run a little stitch through this and stitch it, or wait until I have my stapler that's a little bit bigger. But that's what you would do, is put your little note paper in here. And if you do staple it, then you can add a cute little piece of fabric or something of that nature to, actually, there is something that we could do. Let me check the color here. See what this one will look like. I have some seam binding here, and actually what we can do with this that'll make this look really cute, rather than use the staples, I'm going to cut a piece of this crinkly seam binding. And if you need to know how to make crinkly seam binding, if you get rolls or packages of seam binding and it's of course, it's either bent because it's been in the package so long, or if you get a roll of it, it of course is straight. What you would want to do then is just put it in some water. I don't think it has to be hot water. That's certainly up to you. If you want to use hot water or what you want to use for that. But you just wet it, and then when you squeeze out all the water, you just lay it out and it dries crumpled. So we could put, just for the time being, since I don't have a stapler that will work, you could put this cute little piece of seam binding in here, and I think it kind of adds to the overall design of the project. So if you wanted to, you know, position this the way that you want, you could even put a dab of glue to make it stay, which I am going to do that. I'll just put a dab of glue right here, and then that'll make the bow stay on this side of the page. And that kind of finishes it off really quick. This is not an exact match. It is a kind of a pinky peach, but it looks pretty with her hair. So we'll add that as a cute little addition there. Instead of using the staple, we'll just use the seam binding for the notes. And this is kind of the binding style, I believe, that they call Midori. And what that allows you to do then is just slip these pages in and out right on them, or you can add pictures to them, whatever you want to do. And then here you have your adorable little booklet that you can add into your journal. So what we would do with our, let me get this ugly page off here. What we would do with the rest of our booklets is we can go ahead and design them whatever way we want. We can add images like we did on this one, or we can just do something more generic, like some lace with some flowers. It looks like it has a little bit of purple on it or something that it got stained with. I don't know. Probably purple fabric, or could be my vision at this time of night. But you can do, I found these roses, these rose petals. These were from some fake flowers that I have. You can cut these apart and add them on. All kinds of trims and pieces of fabric with different vibrancies that you could use. All kinds of things. Just look in your offcuts, your stash, your stickers, any booklets that you may, or I'm sorry, any words or images that you may already have. I'm going to go ahead and bend this one now that we let it dry. Okay, let's bend and match correctly now, guy. Okay. So that one, this one needs trimmed a tiny bit, but this one, what I was thinking, since it has a mark right here on the inside, you can also take this a little, another step further and put in here, let's say you wanted to add a pocket. You know, say we wanted to add some kind of pocket to it with some lace or some trim, and then we could add other things inside here like a tag. That gets a little bit more involved if you want to do it that way, but these are perfect little add-ons for your journals, gifts for friends, family. And I think it's a cute way to also spark your creativity and use your images. I'm sure you all have printed images out in kits, and you just need a little piece here and a little piece there, and then you have this cute little booklet to add into your journals, into tuck spots. So that was my little tutorial for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and finish up these other 4. So when I come back with another visit with you, I will be showing you those, and we'll see how everything turned out then when we're finished. So I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thank you, Cathy, for the inspiration for these little booklets. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And tomorrow is the beginning of November. So let's hope that brings some wonderful and exciting things to us here on YouTube and with our art journaling friends. Please, if you decide to try out this little book, post your version in my website. It's actually not a website, it's on Facebook. It's a group called Lilac Lane Livery Arts, and I will add the link to the bottom like I always do. There's a few coffee shops that I frequent that you may find fun to visit, to find either items for your journals. My friend Kim, she sells physical items as well as digitals. Caroline makes beautiful digitals, so if you're looking for anything for the upcoming months to design for gift cards or gifts, she has some really beautiful images. And of course, you can always check Facebook with the various groups that the artists have out there, because they usually offer some type of freebie on at least once a week. So keep that in mind. Have a fun time with this. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great week. Bye for now.